Hey everyone, welcome to the quarterfinals for Bimani Pro League DDR. Our 8 teams are going to be putting everything on the line starting this week because it's elimination matches from here on out. Let's see who can step up and become the new DDR champions. And a quick update, since there's only one more week after this for the tournament, I will be going back to regular uploads once this is over. It's just that this is a pretty big event, so I really like talking about it. And after this one, especially for the final, I'll also try to get back to doing the recaps on the same day. It usually just depends on whether I go back to bed once the broadcast is finished or not. Enough rambling. Let's jump into this week's events. Well, the first thing we need to do is introduce the changes made for the quarterfinals. The most obvious one is the difficulty range. Match 1 is now 14 to 15. Match 2 is 16 to 18, and Match 3 is 14 to 18. Of course, with all of these players having something to prove, I doubt we'll see too many choices in that lower range compared to the allure of the 18s. No more player score or strategy card nonsense either. All that matters is all 3 players show up at least once. Finally, the 2 number 1 seeds from the regular stage receive a 2-point bonus, which already they're up against the 4th seed for this round. So for those lower ranked teams, it's going to be a mountain to climb. With that, we're starting off with Silk Hat versus SUPERNOVA Tohoku. First up, we have Ginyasu and Own, both in their most comfortable positions in Match 1. Looks like we're avoiding those double features from last week. Ginyasu chooses Let's Dance Around, and Own gets Ace Out. Let's Dance Around has tons of those modern speed gimmicks. You really have to just know when the arrows will suddenly fly towards the top of the screen and not get caught off guard. While both players did their best to handle this track, Own seemed to be bleeding more perfects and even accidentally jumping off the freeze arrows too early, adding 3 more points to the deficit. Ginyasu holds his composure to take the win, even after racking up 29 perfects, just going to show how tricky the song is. Now we see the return of Ace Out. They're stone-faced with concentration, and we see some solid play from both players. Even though it's close, Ginyasu has it on lock, and the notes just barely slip away from Own, meaning Ginyasu wins by 8. Heading into Match 2, Kaname versus Yoshimizu, and of course we don't have to wait all that long to see those 18s making their tournament debut. Kaname chooses Dead End Groove Radar Special, and Yoshimizu picks Tokyo Evolve Type 3. Now, Dead End Groove Radar Special, let's see if Kaname was just bluffing or if the Silk Hat anchor can make the pick count. Both players on shuffle to handle one of Bimani's most avant-garde charts. Coming out of the slowdown, it's dead even, but as we all know, that's where the fun's just getting started. Yoshimizu is caught off guard. While Kaname definitely had the preparation for this song, he manages to pull away for a 50-point lead. Heading into Tokyo Evolved, it starts off pretty even, but that's before we get into the sudden stops, and it's where we see both players begin to stumble ever so slightly. Going through those fast patterns, Kaname gets 1 miss but still maintains the lead due to the greats and good on the side of Yoshimizu. It's down to the wire, but once again, Kaname holds on for the win. That means with Silk Hat taking all 4 points, it puts the win for SUPERNOVA impossibly out of reach. But, just for fun, we'll head into the tag battle. Kaname and Abetaku versus Yoshimizu and Rinbo. Silk Hat picks Schrodinger's Cat, and SUPERNOVA picks Prey. In Schrodinger's Cat, there's a race for the early lead where a miss on the crossover from Kaname allows Rinbo to take the lead, as Abetaku and Yoshimizu fight for 3rd. But once the smoke clears from the super fast triplet section, some amazing footwork has Kaname coming out back on top, and Abetaku falling back to 4th. Kaname claims 1st. Let's see if he can end the day on a perfect record. Either Yoshimizu dumped a whole water bottle on his head, or he's 10 times sweatier than anyone else on stage. You would think that would be a problem heading into a pure foot speed chart like Prey, but he actually comes out swinging into 1st. Kaname and Rinbo not all that far behind. Unfortunately, his feet can't carry him through the skipping section at the very end, giving Kaname the perfect window to slide right into 1st. And with that win, Kaname and Silk Hat cement their position heading into the semi-final. Konami is really feeling it, but he deserves to have a moment. He's definitely the star of the show today. Now, who will rise to the challenge to face them? Well, we're about to find out. The last set of the day is Leisureland versus Game Panic. Both teams coming in with something to prove. Match 1, Nayu versus Yoshia. Now, this to me is a little controversial. Nayu was the highest scorer of the regular season, so it's a little concerning to have him going first with Ringo fending off the harder songs. We'll find out if this strategy pays off. Nayu chooses Ace Out, Challenge, and Yoshia picks Hella Deep. Ace Out is business as usual for both players, even though Nayu had a white combo all the way up to 180. Once he gets that first perfect, you'll see we're still tied, and that lasts all the way to the final run. It's anyone's game until the last thing you want to have happen. Yoshia sets off a shock arrow, taking him out of the running. First song goes to Nayu. Hopefully Yoshia can keep his focus after that, heading into Hella Deep. It's another neck-and-neck performance with Nayu up 2 heading into the slowdown, with that lead only growing throughout the song. Great fight from Yoshia, but Nayu ends at 8 perfects to 13 to snag 2 points for Leisureland. Match 2 is Ringo against Hoshkedi, and it seems Ringo is coming out swinging with some 18s of his own. Again, interesting strategy. He gets FELM, and Hoshkedi picks Tohoku Evolved. In Fascination, Ringo is managing to hold his own, but once we get to the jump streams, you can see his feet alone can only carry him so far. Major props for still nailing a full combo, but Hoshkedi comes out on top. But before we get to the next song, we can see Hoshkedi sort of limping off stage and sitting down like we're between boxing rounds. Just a reminder, we are real sports now, not just esports. So I guess we have our first injury of the tournament. After a brief timeout, we come right back into Tohoku Evolved. And now we see both players slightly struggling, but Hoshkedi maintains a steady lead. Ringo falls behind on the sudden speed up at the halfway point, which only serves to extend the lead. Hoshkedi runs away with it for the 4 points and heads back for more leg rubs, because he'll have to be right back on the platform for the tag battle. It all comes down to this: Nayu and Yuki versus Hoshkedi and G's. Leisureland picks Condor and Game Panic picks Triple Journey. Our front runners off the bat are Nayu and G's, but the other two aren't too far behind. In the end, Nayu pulls ahead with 15 perfects, G's with 18, and Hoshkedi scooping up third. That means Game Panic is in the lead, and Leisureland will need first and second to get the win. Last song of the day, Triple Journey, and we see an amazing development here. Sadly, Yuki isn't able to hold the line with the other 3 players, which are pretty much deadlocked and out of reach. Got him. But it kinda looks like Hoshkedi has a slight advantage. Slowly, as those insane runs and step jumps fly in during the last chorus, only one player manages to keep up, and that's Hoshkedi, putting on the performance of a lifetime, while injured for a runaway, with G's right behind in second place just to make sure we know who won. Thanks to that performance, Game Panic will face off against Silcat in the semi-final. All in all, I was not expecting this week to be so emotional. Clearly the competitors are aware that the stakes are higher than ever, and of course, we had some phenomenal DDR come out of it. There's still 4 teams left to fight for a spot in the semifinals next week, and then we won't have to wait too long because the finals will be taking place that weekend, which I believe is July 1st. So mark your calendar if that's still something people do, and set that alarm for 8 a.m. We'll all be tuning in for some more action, and of course, I'll be there right after to talk over all the footage. I'll see you soon.